And thank you again for joining this morning. And thank you so much to Kelly for being with us. Kelly is the CEO of CEA Marketing. And so we're so excited to have you join us. And Kelly also has a couple of different irons in the fire. She also owns and operates Second Soul Studios, which many of you know help to produce our annual meeting video. So we are so excited to have Kelly with us today. She's just got a team of wonderful, talented folks with her and behind her. And we're happy to have her share her knowledge with us for marketing trends this morning. So Kelly, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of Amplify Clearwater and supporting us the way you do. But more than anything, thank you for being willing to impart your knowledge.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Okay, we all ready to go?
I think so.
All right, great. Thank you. Again, thank you everybody for being here. I am excited to present the some 2021 digital marketing trends with you. Again, I'm with CEA Marketing. We are a full service digital marketing and advertising agency in Clearwater, Florida. We've been in business for 23 years, so we specialize in both the traditional side of things, so we've been in business for so long. But what we truly do well here at CEA is the digital services such as website creation, lead generation, digital ads, Facebook, Google, pretty much everything online. And then Second Soul Studios, which is a content creation studio, I also own. Right here in Clearwater, Florida. It's a brand new studio where we specialize in personal branding and also video production as well. We have a video production, photography, and a beautiful podcast studio at Second Soul Studios. So look for any of you to come by and take a look. It's brand new and we just opened up here about 6 months ago. So today I am going to cover a lot of different topics. There's a lot that have been going on this past year, as you all know, and the digital world is constantly changing all the time. I'm sure it drives a lot of people crazy because it's very hard to keep up with. So I wanted to do a presentation just to talk to you about some trends that you should consider for your business in 2021, like the top ones that I think are the most important that you might want to take back to your marketing director, or if you are the marketing director or the digital person that runs it. Or the other thing that's important to do is, you know, whether if you're a business owner learning about this, you have somebody doing it for you, this is going to give you some good info to ask smart questions. Because I think a lot of times with digital, we don't know where to go with it, or maybe the questions that we should be asking the people that are running this for us. And if you are the person that's running the digital for your company, you'll hopefully learn a couple of new things that you can implement as well. So hopefully I'll give you a lot of great information. And again, this is pre-recorded. It's a lot of technical information, so you're probably going to want to go back and watch some of it. The other thing as well is I'm going to stop in the middle to ask questions, and then we'll again take questions at the end. So I want to make sure I'm answering all of them because some of the stuff we're going to talk about is a little bit on the technical. So somewhat on the technical side, I'm going to try to keep it really easy for you to understand. So we're going to go ahead and get started. The first trend I'm going to talk about is search engine optimization. Search is always extremely important for businesses to kind of keep an eye on the pulse, what's going on. It's really still very important now more than ever to have a really great looking mobile optimized website. I think most of us know that our website needs to be a mobile first website designed for overall user experience. So with Google these days, user experience is probably the top on their list as far as making sure that your website is truly optimized for search. This is also good news for a lot of companies. Because as you know, if you worked and tried to get your website on the first page, it's very difficult to do so. And it takes a lot of work. And you typically have to hire a company to help you with your SEO and to try to compete against all the other businesses that are trying to get that top search result on Google. But they've actually started a few new features that I think are pretty great. And they're also pretty easy for businesses to implement. It's just what this is called to hit the zero position. It's called position zero in Google, or they also call it a featured snippet. So what that is it's this piece of content will fall right underneath the ads on the first page and right above any organic content. So that's why they call it position zero. And what it does is it helps answer people's questions that they're putting in the search. So a lot of times people will search for, I don't know, they might ask like, how do I figure out the ROI on my marketing, for an example? And a lot of times it would just maybe search blogs or websites, whatever it would come up with, and it will list all the different websites in the organic side of it. Now what it wants to do is and we'll show you websites that you can go to click on to get the answer to that question. But now what Google is doing is it wants to directly answer that question right away, right when the person asks the question. The reason they are starting to do this is for a lot of reasons. But first of all, a lot of us are utilizing our smartphones where I ask Siri questions all the time to help me find things, or hey, what about this? What about that? So it helps our phone assistants help us search things. So that's why we want to be able to start answering these questions that people ask about our businesses. And if we're able to answer these questions, Google will find that content and then post it in this position. So you'll get posted on top of everything else, which is actually very cool. They just started doing this probably about a year ago. And there's a couple simple things that you can do within your website to possibly be the one that gets featured in this top position. It doesn't cost any money to do this. It only would take a little bit of time on your side to take a look at your website and make sure certain pieces of content are added to your site that helps answers people's questions. So what this does for your business also is it helps you build authority on the topic that's being researched. So if you're that number one company that's, hey, I have the authority here, I'm helping you, and by helping somebody answer their questions, what that does is it builds trust. So I trust this company because obviously, you know, they just answered my question. They're being very helpful. Once they click on the result of the question that you just answered, it will take them right directly to your website and that section where you answer the question. And what it does is people will tend to stay on your website a lot longer because I'm sure there's other questions that they're looking at. This with your website is, what questions do people ask about my business? And if I were to ask Siri a question about my business, how would I ask her that question? So you want to take a list and kind of write down those questions, and you would create a page on your website that's basically a page that's based on questions and answers. And by having that on it's a separate page that's listed right on your website. And you could even, in the navigation, it would be Q&As. Within that, you can create lists of different questions that people ask, like top questions. And what Google will do is when someone asks a question or when people are searching within the query, they search for websites that are asking these questions, and that's when they're going to pull out this piece of content and put it in that zero position above everything else. So again, you don't have to be a big brand to get this position. You just have to be smart and be able to answer people's questions about your business, which should be easy for you to do, and should create a page. This page doesn't really have to have a whole lot of graphics on it per se. It just has to be a page that people can go to that, hey, here are top questions and answers about my business. If you have a lot of different topics, you might need to have more than one page, or maybe it's a question and answer page on each different subject that you would offer and that you would put on your website. So this is a tactic I don't think a lot of people know about, especially smaller businesses, because I feel like sometimes they feel like they can't compete within this space, but it's something really simple and easy to do. And you can check it yourself by just going in and answering these questions, right? Typing in the query and seeing, hey, is my content popping up? What content is popping up? How are they answering their questions? And how can I answer the question better? So that's an SEO topic that you want to consider. And again, it doesn't matter how well designed or how technologically sound your company website is. If that content that people are searching for, if it's not there, it's going to be hard. Google's not going to find your site to be relevant. And again, their goal is to give people the best experience and the best type of content based on what they're searching for. So yes, it's still important to have keyword-rich content on your site. You still want to have all those backlinks, but this is a little piece that you can actually do yourself, or you can get with your website company and give them this list of FAQs and make sure that they add a certain page to your website that will help you show up. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. And you'll probably get a lot more clicks on this question than you will with any ad campaign that you pay for. It's amazing that the results that you'll get and the business that you'll get out of that, because that's how you earn people's trust. Next thing, for that zero position that we're seeing a lot of as well is video content. Video is becoming more and more popular. If your business does not have a video strategy, I highly recommend that you start one for your company. Just creating all different types of video content. And you can do the same thing with video. As I mentioned, the written FAQ section on your website. Once you figure out what those questions and answers are, you can also create video that answers those questions as well and put them up on the YouTube channel. If you start a business YouTube channel, YouTube is owned by Google, and it's the #2 search engine. So it's the second most popular search engine. So a lot of times they're pulling videos that help people with whatever their problem is that would also come up on that as well. So we're either going to see a little snippet that will show up, or we're going to see a video that shows up in that zero position on Google above all other organic content. There are a lot of different ways that you can optimize your video content. Doing the video portion of this, it is a little more technical. So if you wanted to add a video strategy to what you're currently doing, I do suggest that you reach out to a YouTube specialist to help you get all that content set up correctly on YouTube, because there's a lot more involved than just putting your YouTube video on your YouTube page and thinking that it's going to show up. It probably won't, because there's a lot of work that has to go into it. And I listed some of those things right here on this slide that you can either ask your web company or your digital company or whoever's managing your online your online digital advertising. Here are 9 different things that they can create to help you show up on that zero position. If they also follow these 9 steps as well, it's going to optimize your Google channel for search on YouTube as well. So it makes your videos more searchable. So all this kind of plays nicely together. But video is probably my #1 recommendation for 2021, that if you do not have a video strategy, I highly recommend that you put one in place. That's the content that's really showing up the most. People absorb it most. People love to watch video. So again, you want to make sure that you have the right kind of FAQ sections that's put on so your snippets show up and answer those through video. The next strategy that we're going to talk about is another thing that's really easy for you as a business owner to implement. You don't need a digital agency to do this for you. But you need to pay attention to it because it's extremely important for your business. So if there's something called Google My Business. So every business gets a Google My Business page. But what you want to make sure is that your Google My Business page is optimized correctly so people can get the information that they need. And you also need to monitor your Google My Business as well, because a lot of people are going on there, they're posting pictures about your business and they're leaving reviews. So you also want to make sure that the location is correct, because people will go to Google My Business to help find your location. So a lot of businesses don't realize that this is a tool. The other reason why Google My Business is extremely as important is, again, your mobile assistants. They pull all the information when you ask to call a certain business. Say, I want to call Domino's and order a pizza. So my iPhone Siri is going to go on and search for Domino's Google My Business page in Clearwater so it can find me that right number. So Domino's needs to make sure that they have all their phone numbers and all their listings and everything correct on their Google My Business page, so the phones can bring up those phone numbers. Also, I'm going to ask her for directions. When you ask the phone for directions, it's pulling it direct from that Google My Business page. A lot of times, if you can't find where a business is located and you're following her directions, if it takes you to the wrong place, more than likely that business did not put the right pin on their Google My Business. And I don't feel like a lot of businesses know all the types of information that you can put on a Google My Business page. You can actually make sure that you have really great photography of the outside of your location along with the inside of your location. You can put that on the Google My Page listing. It's also kind of operating now as a social media page. So you can put, if you have specials going on, if you have some type of promotion that you want to do, maybe you have a special event that you want people to attend. There's an area where you can create posts on your Google My Business page that talks about all those different things. Along with, it's a place where all the reviews get displayed, people leaving reviews about your business. The way that you can go into googlemybusiness.com and make sure that your business is set up correctly in order to get put on Google Maps. So what Google Maps are is if you've ever been searching on your cell phone and the map portion pulls up with the different numbers on the map, they're also pulling that from Google My Business as well. So Google will actually send you a postcard with a pen that once you get that postcard, you can log into the Google My Business and put in the pen that they give you, the 4-digit number, and then it will assign you a pen that you can actually go in and stick on the Google My Business website, where it actually now has you listed as a business with the proper location with directions of how people can find you. The other thing that you can put on a Google My Business page is you can put your FAQs on there as well, because if Google can't find certain information from a website, it is pulling quite a bit off of businesses' Google My Business pages. So your Google My Business almost kind of operates in a way for Google as a mini website. And they're super easy to do. Like, you don't need a programmer. You can go in and add in all the information yourself. There's an app on your phone that helps you manage your Google My Business page, and it helps you can put up-to-date information in there, add photos, encourage other people that come to your business to go to your Google My Business and leave reviews. And then you can answer people, thanking them for their review, or if there's a certain problem, you can help solve the problem, all right through the app on your phone. So that's a big one for most businesses. I don't think they realize that you can actually operate your Google My Business as kind of like a social media page / website for your company. You can list all your business services. There's just a lot that you can do. So the next thing is pay-per-click. The 2021 strategy for pay-per-click is called responsive search ads. So I'm trying to explain all this because it can get very technical in a way. So if you're the person that's running your Google ads, this is a tactic that you really want to consider, are doing these responsive search ads. What they are is it's basically kind of letting Google do the work for you. You go into the Google Ads platform and you can create up to 15 different headlines and 4 different descriptions. And you also add a couple pictures of what the content that you want, that you're advertising, the products that you're advertising. And you also want to put your logo in there as well. And then Google will basically, depending on where it shows up, whether it's on a mobile app or maybe it's on a blog on a desktop, it will pull all the content and make the right size ad for you. And then you'll show up and your ad will then show up in a lot more places because it's built to be the right size. A lot of businesses don't realize that there's up to 25 different sizes of Google display ads that you can run, and most companies maybe make 1 or 2. So if you're only making 1 to 2 different size ads, they can really only show up in like 2 different places. So what we're finding with responsive search ads is, I'll give you an example of what they look like. And in here, again, I don't want to get real technical on this. So if any of you are interested in getting the slides, I will email this to Amanda and she can share the slides with the group. But this kind of gives you a rundown of how they work and how to actually create them. There's also a lot of information that you can go direct to the Google Ads, and they will teach you exactly how to do this. But it's the one thing that your Google rep will tell you, the #1 trend is make sure you're running responsive ads because your ads will show up more, and you'll also pay less for them as well. So here's an example of kind of what they would look like. Depending on where they show up, these are 4 different examples of kind of what the ads look like. And again, you'll see the one all the way over to the left. That's vertical. That type of ad would probably more than likely show up on a desktop. And then you have some other ads that are more longer horizontal. You might see those showing up, on a blog post. And then they also have little teeny tiny ads that they make that would show up on apps on your smartphone. So they'll kind of make the ad for you based on, again, the description and the 15 headlines that you create and the 1 photo that you give them. And along with, they normally will insert the logo again. And then they backlink it where you can click on the ad and it takes you directly to your website. So what we're finding at CEA is once we started running these responsive ads, we were a little, in the beginning, we're like, well, I don't know if we like that or not, because what if we don't have brand consistency in how these ads are going to show up and represent my client's brand? So we were a little bit nervous about it in the beginning because it's basically they're taking it and making these ads, but they work, honestly, they work better. They're perfectly sized and they show up in a lot more places, which is going to, I think we were able to increase our click-through rate by 100% for most of our clients when we started using responsive search ads. So this is the #1 tactic for Google Ads. There's a lot that's going on in the Google Ads platform right now. It's crazy. There's always, they're always adding things. But the thing I've seen most results from in 2020 and coming into 2021 is once we started utilizing the responsive search ads. Now you should still run your text-based ads. You should still run, you know, a lot of the other ad formats that Google offers. This is just an additional one that you should have with everything else that you're currently doing. So keep doing what you're doing, but add in the opportunity for them to run these responsive ads. And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised about how well these are going to work for you. And the other thing I love about it is it saves money because you're not paying a higher percentage. They're a lot less expensive to run. So you end up saving money as well. Next, we're going to go into social media. Social media 2021. Wow, did we have a big year in 2020? Social media had a huge uptick of people using social media. You know, more people are staying at home more. So obviously that's one of the main reasons why there's a lot more people that are utilizing social media. But I think everybody got a lot more tech savvy during this pandemic. They learned how to use a lot more tools within. It was interesting, you know, just seeing even, you know, our older population, they're getting more tech savvy also. They're understanding, and you know, they know how to use their smartphones now. They're buying it. We're seeing that iPad consumption is going way up as far as the use of iPads and the use of all these apps for all the age demographics skyrocketed in 2020. We, you know, yeah, we think hopefully a lot of things are going to change in 2021, but we don't really see social media across the board is still going to be probably number one strategy for businesses to consider advertising on and putting some investment in 2021. So a couple of things to consider if you are utilizing social media for your business or if you plan on doing it. If you're currently doing that, you need to consider the rise of cancel culture. You know, it's a big topic right now. We live in a world which is more divided now more than ever, whether it's political in the US or wearing masks or adhering to all the rules to manage the global pandemic. Cancel culture, it's here, it's happening, and businesses need to be aware of it. You need to be aware of how are you communicating to your audience as a brand. And honestly, if you're the owner of a business, how are you personally communicating? How are you putting yourself out there? Like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? You have to be very careful with this. And you need to make sure that you put together a very strong strategy of how you're going to tackle this. Because with everything being so divided, you could easily lose potential customers by saying the wrong thing. And it's extremely nerve-wracking. But a lot of businesses they're losing customers because of what they're doing and how they're acting. So it's just something to keep top of mind. What we're recommending is that, you know, go on, and if you've been running your same ad campaign for a really long time, you might want to go in there and look at your messaging, come up with a really strong strategy, kind of now's a good time to kind of reset and really think about what you're doing. The other thing you should have is you really should have somebody within your company that's responsible to have that social, they're listening, they're on there, they're watching what's happening, and they're really paying attention to your reputation online and on social media to make sure that you're being seen in the best light possible. So it's just something to pay attention to, keep on the radar. It's probably not going away anytime soon. So we just want businesses to be aware. The next thing that we're seeing for social is the rise in e-commerce on social media. I personally have been waiting for this for a long time. Facebook and Instagram has made it so easy for people to buy products online. And this is really, it's really great news for a lot of businesses. You know, I know a lot of the brick and mortar, this, especially in 2020, you were locked down or you had limited hours of where you could sell. So you weren't able to take advantage of, you know, the space that you had to get people to come in because you were very limited on what you could do there. But now you can actually do both, which is really great. You can have people come to your location and you can also sell your products online. And what that does, to me, it's very exciting because you're not limited to your geographic area any longer. If you're a boutique, for example, or you're selling some type of product out of your location, you're not limited to that area around you. You can actually go nationwide. You can go global with your products. So instead of, you know, I know a lot of boutiques that went and, you know, they wanted to continue selling, so they couldn't sell on their stores, so they started doing a lot of Facebook Lives to showcase their new clothing lines that were coming through and getting their customer base to log on a certain time every day so they could show them all their new products that they got in. So there's a big, huge trend in selling live on Facebook. The other trend that I just noticed it's not on here that I wanted to mention is a lot of businesses are also forming Facebook groups for their customers that are most loyal to them. So they're saying, hey, we're gonna create a VIP experience for you on our Facebook group business page. And what this will give you is a chance to, for example, I own another line called twofunkyhippies.com, and it's an online clothing company. And I've learned this from watching other clothing companies do this and other boutiques do this, where they bring their loyal fan base to their Facebook business page and say, you show up on this day, I'm not going to put these products on my website because I want to show them to you first. So you give them the opportunity to buy these products before anybody else can. And you also, maybe you give away gift cards and you give away prizes and you make it fun. And you know, you can have wine parties and really have a lot of fun interactions with these people that are coming in live. So along with having your store, you can be at your store during the day and also go live from your store and be selling, hey, we just got this beautiful bag that just came in, you know, and have a live about that. So a lot of taking what you normally do within your store, now you can take it live on Facebook. So we're seeing a lot of businesses utilizing that platform. So the lives are, I think, up by like, again, 100%. We're seeing people really figuring out how to do that. And they're also forming those VIP groups on Facebook. So two really big trends to think about. You can do fun, different things. Even if you're a restaurant, you could have your own private VIP Facebook where you could, you know, give away, you know, you can have the chef talking about his top dishes and how to cook one of his top dishes, and maybe give out certain, you know, coupons and incentives to get people to come into the restaurant. But just another way to interact with your VIPs by doing these special lives. But I love how I'm seeing lots of businesses learn how to use social media and sell on social live, like right away, selling products. You'll sell so much more by utilizing these platforms than you probably, you know, within a day's time period of having your store open. But to me, it's a good thing they both work well together. And it's just a great way to get even more sales coming in. Exciting stuff. The other thing is the golden era of video and social media. What we're seeing is obviously with the Facebook Live, we're utilizing the phones and this video, but you want to have a ton of video. You cannot have enough video content. for social. Facebook and Instagram is now trying to compete directly with YouTube. So what that means is that if you create your video content is going to show up a lot more in the feed than your static picture ads are going to show up. So they give it a higher relevance, and you're going to see more views with video. It's just a proven fact. They love it. People consume video a lot more than they do. So they'll spend more time with your brand than scrolling, which a lot of people do. They scroll. But if there's a video that catches their eye, they'll stop and watch it. So they're going to be spending more time with you on social if you create this video. And also, videos is a great way to tell your story. People want to learn about you. It's also a great way to answer those questions and to be helpful, to be that educator, to build trust. You can do all that by utilizing video. It's all about education, enlightening, and promoting your products. So number one thing, again, I mentioned it earlier, not only YouTube, but Facebook, Instagram, even LinkedIn. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes. They are all video rich based social media companies that will show your content more if you have video. Instagram is the place for shopping. It's also the place for advertising your business. If you have social media ad budget, which I highly recommend, it's actually, people don't realize it's really affordable to advertise on social media. You can advertise a couple $100 a month and get some good sales from it. And they offer all kinds of different types of ads. And it's honestly really fun to be on there as well. So the different types of ads that you can run, you can create different types of shopping experiences within the feed by advertising your products and services through photo ads, video ads. A carousel is one where if you have like 10 different products, you can have a carousel ad that people will actually click through and look at all the different products all within one ad. Or maybe it's something where they're exploring your different content, where you can create a video that will pop up in the explore section of Instagram. So Instagram is where a majority of ads show up. So we're not seeing, there are some ads that still show up on Facebook, but not as many. They've kind of changed Instagram into being more of that business platform. That's why we're seeing the trend on Facebook being more, we're going to form a group and really work our VIPs through Facebook. But when we do our advertising, a lot of times the ads are going to show up within the Instagram feed. So it's a big shift that Facebook has made recently, and I actually really love it because now friends and family can see more pictures of each other and not have as much interruption of ads coming in. Like every third picture, there's an ad. Where Instagram, it's a little bit more acceptable in the social space. So some tools that you want to consider on Instagram is one of the latest tools that came out last year are Instagram Reels. And Instagram Reels are in direct competition with TikTok. I think when they saw last year that the government was getting ready to, wanted to get rid of TikTok in the United States, but they saw the amount of users that TikTok has, which is growing every single day. TikTok is a space for our younger generation. Absolutely love it. But they decided to, as Facebook always does, they like to compete with everybody. They don't like anybody one-upping them. So they created something called Instagram Reels. And what it is you can create telling a fun little story in an engaging way. It's 15-second short little video clips that you can add fun music and audio effects to it. What we're seeing with Instagram Reels is they get more attention than anything else on Instagram. So if you create a reel, for example, you will probably see thousands of views without ever having to spend any money because, again, Facebook's trying to compete with TikTok. So they're going to show these reels to more people. So you're going to see a lot more of that organic reach through social without having to pay. If you're running like static picture content on your Instagram feed, they might decide to show it to your followers or maybe not. But your reels are going to get shown to everybody scrolling. And then they also put the reels in the section called Explore. And that's where the content shows up even more. So if you're going to run reels, you want to make sure that you have a public profile. Because if you have a public profile for your business, or if you're a personal brand, you want to make sure that you're under public and not private. You're going to see a big increase if you follow this strategy. I do recommend that you take some courses online to learn how to use them, because in order for them to work, they do have to be really creative and catchy to catch people's eye. But if you can create that fun, engaging content, you're going to find a lot of people follow that. So I started using them for my boutique business that I own, and we get a lot of play out of it. It works really well. The other thing is Instagram shopping. So Instagram has made it where you can basically buy and sell products direct on Instagram without even leaving the app. A lot of people don't want to leave the app. They would rather, hey, if I see this, how can I buy this now? So if you're selling products on Instagram and you're trying to sell them through your Instagram feed, you can go on, there's a whole Instagram shopping area that you can go sign your business up for and create that. And then all you have to do is when you're promoting a product on Instagram, you tag the product exactly the same way as you would tag a friend on Instagram. And when you tag the product, you put the price behind it. And when you set up everything to take credit card payments through Instagram, people can actually click on the product and purchase it right through the app. So it makes it super simple. I think a lot of times where we see a big drop off with e-commerce and social media is when you try to take them off the platform and to your website and get them to purchase, because it's too many clicks and too much hassle. You're going to lose me. Oh my God, I have to go over here. Now they want me to sign up for their email list. Now I have to do this and that. And, forget it. It's too much. I'm out. So we see a lot of carts kind of like they go through the process and then they stop. Why are they stopping? Because you're making it too difficult for them. So now Instagram, like you can shop directly from Instagram, and actually you can actually shop and buy things directly through Facebook. You can buy things directly through Facebook Messenger when you run live. When you're selling live, you can actually sell right through your Messenger app for both Instagram and Facebook. Really super cool tools. Play around with it. I think you'll love it if you're a product-based business, even service-based businesses. I do a lot of lives and things like that for my studio, and I also do them for CEA. And I'm growing my audience. I think when I started as a personal brand about a year ago, when I really started pushing my own personal brand, I had about 200 Instagram followers, and from running all these lives and being more engaging and putting a lot more videos out there, I'm up to almost 1,200 on Instagram, which is quite a bit. It's because it takes a while. Those of you that are on Instagram, it takes a while to grow a following. So if you do all the right things, it will happen for you a lot faster. Another thing is creating stories for your business. So the stories for Instagram, they are going to be at the very top. Those little circles, people can click through them and you can get through the stories pretty quickly. And they're very engaging. The other thing with the story for Instagram is they'll always come up. So every time you create a new story, it'll be the first one that shows up on somebody's feed. If you want it to show up more, you can create ads for them. So those are stories are really good to do as well. LinkedIn ads are also great. LinkedIn is a little bit more expensive than most other social media sites, but it is becoming more of a quiet space that people like to go to. If you are a company that sells B2B, I honestly recommend LinkedIn before any of the other platforms. And we're seeing a lot more people migrating to it because it's a lot less political than some of the other sites. So people like it because it's more about business and not everything else. So I would highly recommend, they have a lot of new features going on there, learning about them, but they have sponsored content ads you can run. You can run ads in the messaging part of the app. You can run text ads, and they also have ads that run on the side. But it's becoming more and more popular to run ads on LinkedIn. Again, I have a how-to here, but I do recommend going to LinkedIn. They have a lot of courses that you can take. You can learn quite a bit of how to advertise on LinkedIn and how to get more context, connections, and sell directly through LinkedIn, but this isn't going away. It's becoming more popular every year. We did talk about YouTube earlier. Again, just having that strong YouTube strategy. YouTube is the second search engine. So please consider this. Also, advertising on LinkedIn, it is super inexpensive to advertise. So if you create videos, you might be paying about 25 cents a click on Google AdWords, depending on your competition. It could range from anywhere from $1 to $10, where here you're only paying 25 cents. I don't think a lot of companies realize the value that you get, and it's just a lot less expensive. Again, TikTok for business is another trend that you want to pay attention to, especially if you're selling to the younger generation. The Generation Z is all over TikTok. And if Zs are on there, their moms are on there too. I know I'm a mom and I'm on TikTok and I watch it with my kids. So it is a great platform to be on. It's extremely entertaining. More and more people are going on there. The ad formats are actually super simple to use. They have a lot of tutorials for businesses to go on and learn how to do this. Again, I think you do need somewhat of a really good creative mind. So you might want to find, a good video person that can help you create a bunch of TikToks for your business, because you want to get very creative with it in order for it to work well for you. But it's something I would definitely keep top of mind, especially if you're going after moms or that younger Z type generation. Podcasting. If you haven't started a podcast, you might want to consider starting. And I know a place that can help you with that, Second Soul Studios. We do a lot of podcasting and work with a lot of companies, but podcasting is a great play, a really great place to become a thought leader and to have conversations with a group of clients that you might be trying to attract. So what better way to get business is to find that number one potential customer that you've been trying to go after and invite them to be on your podcast. I bet afterwards they're going to be asking you a lot of questions about your business. So one of my tactics is invite 10 of your top prospects to be part of your podcast and see how many customers that you can get afterwards. But again, podcasts are becoming more and more popular. A lot of people love them. They listen to them while they're driving in their car. You listen to them while they're at work. You listen to them while they're working out. Very engaging. Usually you can have a repeat listener base. It's just a great way for you to show off your personality, show off your brand, and show off, what really are you interested in? What do you want to talk about? And get guests that have are like-minded on your shows. Podcasts are great because you can also promote your podcast by doing a video podcast. You can put it on social media. You can put them on your YouTube channel, so you can slice and dice it and put it in a lot of different places other than just the RSS feeds. So I'm a big plan for that. The last one, because I know we're running short of time, and I forgot to stop in the middle, I apologize for that, is webinars and virtual events. These are not going away anytime soon. I believe they're just going to they're going to turn it into more of a hybrid type of situation. So what are companies doing right now? They're creating webinars and they're doing a lot of virtual conferences. So even though, and hopefully, as we all are hoping for, things are going to start going back to normal, but I still think that we're going to see a lot of virtual conferences and webinars still happening in conjunction with live events again. So I think when you're thinking about these things, think about how you can be offering these things and find a creative way to do them together. And I think that's how you're going to be most successful. If you plan on having a virtual event, here are some tactics right here that you want to think about. You want to make sure you have a website, event registration, live presentation content. You want to be able to question and answer, do live polling. Make sure you always record your content. And you want to be very interactive with everything. You want to have people be able to interact with the things that are going on within your virtual event. That way they're going to stay with you and not kind of go off. So again, try to do something that's creative that can create that virtual event and have it all come together. But anyway, I'd like to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kelly, for that very thorough presentation. You covered a lot in a short amount of time, so good for you. You had it managed very, very well, time management well. Just to our attendees, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A function, the chat function, the raise your hand function. This will also, as Kelly said, this is a lot of information to digest. This will be available on our social media pages, full recording on our website, that kind of thing, so you can go back and review it. Kelly's put her contact information here, so if you don't have any questions at the moment, but you have some later, I know she's very responsive and would love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out, and again, contact Amplify or any of us at the chamber if we can help you. Kelly, I don't see any questions. Do you see any on your end?
Do not see any on my end. But again, it was a lot of information to consume. So they can also, my email, I don't think I put it on here either. It's kelly@ceamarketing.com. They can reach me that way as well.
Great. I'm just going to put that in the chat. And Paul actually asked, do you think adding sites with hyperlinks to service area helps your Google search growth? Helps your Google search grow? Is that right?
Yes. So so adding links to your what now? Was it again?
Adding sites with hyperlinks.
Absolutely. Yes, hyperlinks are still a popular SEO trend. Like, yeah, don't stop doing that, because that actually is probably one of the top search trends is hyperlinking things. Yep. Or if you can share links with other companies, obviously like companies like chambers and different member type associations, but there's a lot of places where you can go into Google and find out any listing services where you can post external links that will bring people back to your website. But yeah, hyperlinks are very, very popular.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Paul, for the question. Thank you to our attendees. Thank you especially to Kelly for presenting today. If you joined us by Facebook Live, please know that this will be available recorded later if you'd like to digest it and later in pieces. So again, thank you, Kelly. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you being a part of Amplify Clearwater, and we look forward to doing more with you in the future.
Thank you. I look forward to it as well. Thank you for everybody for attending and listening in. I appreciate it.